All right, welcome to our first project of the school year, which is our Puzzle Cube project. High level overview of the project. Each of the students, you are provided 8 sets of 8 cubes, each set a different color. When you first get them, they're in sticks of 8 in a straight line. You must create 8 unique puzzle pieces to create an overall 8 by 8 puzzle. So if you look in the example in the lower right hand corner, you'll see a finished example. An additional couple constraints: each puzzle piece must include all 8 cubes of that color, and there can be no straight lines of more than 5 of the same color. So for example, if you look at the red, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. The blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. The yellow, again, it's only 5 in a row total, but really it's only 4 as far as the constraint goes. So this here is a good example. Do not make my puzzle, make your own. There's millions of combinations that you can work, and that is the overall project. So now on to how to go about working on this in Fusion. All right, welcome everybody to the next video in the Puzzle Cube project. So I've gone ahead and I've opened up Fusion and gotten to a brand new file. And so we're going to start to assemble our individual cube that we made in the last video into our full puzzle piece shape. So this is the one we're going to work on in this video. It's a pretty simple 5 in one row, 3 in the next row. So we've got our 8 puzzle pieces. Looks kind of like, I don't know, a house with a chimney maybe. So first thing we always do with the new file is we save. So we're going to save. We're going to call this dark green puzzle piece. Again, our name should be relatively pretty descriptive, so that way if we see the file, we very quickly know what it is. We don't have to go through and open up a whole bunch of untitles to find the right one that we just worked on. We want to make sure the location is the right place. So not only do I want to make sure it's in the video files location, but I'm looking for the exact project that we're working on. So in this case, Puzzle Cube project. And just like before, if we can't find, if it's not the right location, we hit this drop down arrow and we navigate through here to find the right place. We can always hit new folder if we need to create a folder. Say we forgot to create the folder last time, then we can create it there. You can see we're already in Puzzle Cube project and we've got that cube file that we made in the last video. So in this case, we know we're in the right place. I'm just going to go ahead and hit save since I've got the right name up on it. And so again, just like last time, you can see the icons changing. We've got the colored in icon up here. We've got the name of the file. We've now got version 1 or V1. So now we're going to start assembling. So this is one of the few times that you don't start a new file and just go create sketch. So we're going to start inserting components. So if you remember at the end of last video, we changed that body of the cube into a component. And what we're looking for is this button right here, insert component. It's in the assemble area. Based off the way my screen looks, it's right underneath utilities. I know earlier today, because of the resolution on the screen I was using, weren't as many buttons. It was a little bit further to the left. So again, you're in this assemble section of the toolbar, your design toolbar under solid. If you can't see this button, you can always click on the word assemble to get the drop down, and it's the very first one, insert component. So we're going to press that button. You're going to get this pop-up window where it's saying, hey, what do you want to insert? In this case, we're going to insert our cube. So we're going to find our cube file that we created in the last video. We're going to highlight it and we're going to go insert. So it should look very similar to before. We've got our gray cube. One big difference, we have these sets of arrows. So for right now with this one, we're just going to hit enter. We're telling it exactly where we want. Oh, before we do that, we're actually going to change one thing. So right here, we've got a check mark that says ground to parent. We want to uncheck this. Then we're going to hit OK. If for whatever reason we forgot to do that, we forgot to unground it, and we hit enter too quick, you can look over here in your browser at the component you just inserted, and you'll see on the icon there's a little anchor. We want to get rid of this so we can add and move multiple cubes. So we're going to right click on the name of that component, and we're going to unground from parent. It's right here at the top, third from the top. And you can even see the description. So just like the tool tips up above, unground from parent. And the reason why you do that is so you can move it independently. If not, it remembers the exact location in your original file and it will not let you move it, which becomes pretty important here in a second. So right now we've got 1 cube in our screen, and our puzzle pieces are 8 cubes. So we're going to make copies of this cube, until we get to 8. So in order to do that, we just right click on the name of that component again. We go down to copy. It's about 2/3 of the way down. Just says copy, not this one up here that says move copy. We're going to copy. Then we're going to click on the screen. We're going to press Control V to paste. I could have also right clicked and done paste, but I'm again keyboard shortcut, so Control V pastes. You can't tell that it's pasted a new cube in other than seeing it over here in your browser, but you got your move arrows again. So we're just going to grab one of those arrows, left click on that arrow, and move it off to the side. So now you can see you've got 2 cubes. Then we're going to press enter, or I could press OK over here. So I can keep repeating that process until I get to 8 cubes, but I like to work smarter, not harder. So I'm going to do it 2 cubes at a time. So if I left click on the first component, press and hold my shift button and go to the second component or the last one on the list, and then right click and copy and paste. Then once I move the arrows out, I now have 4 cubes. And since I need a total of 8, we're going to do the same thing, but instead of doing 2, we're going to left click on the top one, hold shift, click on the bottom one. So now we've got all 4 selected. We're going to right click on the name of that component, copy, left click into the workspace somewhere, Control V to paste, and I'm just going to move them off to the side. Once I got my 8 cubes, I moved them off to the side. I'm going to press enter to let them know, hey, let's go ahead and set them right there for now. So now we're going to do 2 things. So the first thing we're going to do, to me it's a little bit more fun, we're going to change the appearance on these cubes. So I'm going to press A for appearance, and that's A on my keyboard. I'll get this pop-up window. In this case, the appearance, I can either do it to the whole body or component, or I can do it just to a face, which is one of the sides. In this case, we want the whole cube or the whole body or the whole component to look the same. In this case, these are plastic dark green. So I'm just going to go plastic in my search right here in the library. I'm going to go down here into the Fusion library, Fusion Appearance library. And I'm going to scroll down a ways, and I'm going to look. In this case, I'm just going to find plastic, matte, and then green in parentheses. Sometimes you'll see they have a little download arrow. So I'm going to go ahead and download it. Not as important right now for this part of the project, but there are, besides just the look, each of these materials has different components and specs on like strength and things like that. And so when you start to get into the simulation part of Fusion, it's very critical that you have the right materials. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take left click and I'm going to drag this up to in this design. I'm going to select all of my cubes, and then I'm just going to drop it in. Oh, it didn't work for me today. We'll just drop it in one by one. Now say I don't like this shade of green for whatever reason. It does look more like a lime green than a dark green. If I double click on this one that is in this design section, I'll get another pop-up where I have basically, the ability to change it between, probably, 2 million colors or something like that. You've got your RGB codes right here. You've got some options for roughness and reflectance down here. I'm going to drag this little plus down here a little ways, make it a little bit darker of a green. Then I'm going to click done. I'm going to click close on my appearance. And so now my 8 cubes, which are part of my dark green puzzle piece, are now dark green. Alright, so now it's time to start assembling to get this shape. So the way we do this is through a joint. We're going to click on this assemble button, and the 5th one down says joint. It's also J on the keyboard. So I'm going to go ahead and left click this. I've now got my joint pop-up. Again, we look to see what's highlighted in blue. It's saying, hey, pick your snap point on component 1. So what a snap point is, if I just kind of hover over one of these boxes, let's actually just change this to a top-down view to get a little bit better. If I highlight one, I've got 9 snap points here. So you've got one in the middle. You've got some edges and corners that you can also snap on. So if you wanted to combine corner to corner, you could. But in this case, we're just connecting these snap cubes right smack in the middle, because that's where our little knob is, and the little receptacle. So we're going to click on the first one. We're going to connect that to the second one right in the middle. I'm going to change this back to the home, so now we can get the kind of the 3D view. And you'll see they stacked right on top of each other. From here, I'm just going to click OK. If I wanted to give it some spin, I could, say I wanted to go 15 degrees. It would connect it, but then it would spin it a little bit. I don't want to do that, so we're going to undo, and we're going to just combine them a second time. So in this case, there we go. We're going to click OK. Now, keyboard shortcut, if I press spacebar, that will repeat the last thing I did. So you'll see joint pop right back up. So now I'm going to click on the top of this cube. It's part of my double stack. I'm going to click to the next cube. When it animates, it doesn't show you that all of them are moving, but it still will do it. So if I click OK, now it's got all 3 stacked. Hit spacebar, combine, connect, click, OK. So my shape has 5 tall on one side and 3 tall on the other. So I've got one more to go here. We're going to hit spacebar one more time. And we're going to hit OK. Alright, so now I've got my 5 high. Now I just need to get these 3 stacked up over here to the side. So spacebar one more time. Let's see if we can do this. Spacebar. Trying to see if I can get this to join the wrong direction, but it's not working for me right now. So occasionally when you join, instead of it going that way, the 2 cubes will go inside of each other. If you just hit this button right here next to flip, it'll flip it 180 degrees. it'll make the cube reappear. So if you ever join and instead of seeing the cube that basically puts in the exact same spot, this flip button will flip that component over that joint origin or the spot, so it's a 180-degree turn. Alright, and so at that point, we've now created our dark green puzzle piece. We're going to hit save. And we are good to go. Alright, I'm going to go through and work on creating the other 7 puzzle pieces, and then in the next video I will show you how to connect and get all of the puzzle pieces together to assemble the overall puzzle. Alright, so stay tuned and watch the next video. Thanks all.